The United States is the most popular destination for immigrants from all over the world, according to the Migrate Policy Institute. More than 40 million immigrants live in the United States. The Pew Research Center stated that about 76% of those immigrants are legal, while about 23.7% are illegal. Migration is currently a hot topic because the President of the United States is trying to prevent immigrants from entering the country illegally by wanting to construct a wall at the border. The President is trying to utilize his power while in office to make these new policies against those trying to enter the United States, specifically those migrating seeking refuge from Mexico and Latin America. When people in power don't use their authority correctly, many people suffer. For example, in Venezuela, the government isn't making the right decisions and the whole country is being affected. The government isn't succeeding at price controls. Their goal was to decrease the cost of basic goods in order to aid the population lacking money. This plan backfired because the business owners were not making a profit off of these items and they stopped producing them. In addition, the Venezuelan government decided to prohibit the exchange of bolivars to dollars unless they have a valid excuse. Venezuelans are suffering from hyperinflation, power cuts, food shortage, and medicine shortage. This has caused several Venezuelans to flee their countries because their homes are no longer stable and people are not able to survive. According to BBC News, the Venezuelans had to leave their country as soon as possible and they had to migrate by force. This means that as immigrants, they would have power struggles. There are several forms of power and it can affect people in different ways. Power gives someone the opportunity to control others and it can be found in the most simple places, such as a household, as parents have the authority to control their children and their choices. On the other hand, a president can have greater power because they have the ability to control a whole country. The levels of power can be set as a hierarchy, and people can obtain their place in a hierarchy of power by their status, intelligence, education, financial status, etc. Immigrants have many power struggles from a social point of view because they are not treated equally. When immigrants enter a foreign country, they usually don't have many resources. They also don't have many connections, and this could mean fewer job opportunities. In order to have a good-paying job, people need to have a social security number. A social security number is a 9-digit number provided to citizens, permanent residents, and temporary residents. Illegal immigrants are not allowed to have a social security number and as a result are not able to work. Not being able to receive an income will make them struggle to pay their home, bills, personal necessities, and even food.
Many people migrate to the United States with the purpose of receiving a better education because the education provided in their country is limited or is very poor. Many people don't believe that immigrants are able to be successful, and since immigrants don't receive significant motivation, many of them drop out of school. Discontinuing their education doesn't allow them to get a good-paying job and will lead to economical struggles in their future.
The process of migrating into a foreign country can be very hard and people will come across several obstacles. One of the most common struggles that immigrants come across is language barriers. Being incapable of understanding the language spoken in the country will create many misunderstandings and will make communication a great struggle. In addition, immigrants also have to deal with racism. This can portray power because immigrants can be discriminated for their race or ethnicity. Some people don't want people of different races entering the country. They might have experienced something throughout the course of their lives that impacted the way they view races. Power can be controlling and it can have a positive or negative impact on a community. A person in power has the ability to interfere with the decisions of other people as well as the lifestyle of others. Some people take advantage of the power that they obtain and they use it to harm populations. To illustrate, Rafael Trujillo was the president of the Dominican Republic for 31 years. He was in power of the country from 1938 to 1952 and abused it in many ways. He was selfish and used his power to create fear over the population. He would threaten and even kill anyone who opposed his ideas. Many people had to flee their country because they felt that their lives were endangered. Power can have various impacts on people and the way things are done. It can also affect the way people feel and the way that they live. When immigrants migrate to another country, they might struggle due to the residents of the foreign country being racist or making them feel belittled. They can discover several barriers that they have to get through, and they can encounter economical struggles. Power must be used wisely and thoughtfully in order to prevent a crisis of any type. The way someone decides to use their power on their level on a hierarchy based on power can determine the way people live, and if fallen into the wrong hands, the decisions made can greatly impact the lifestyle of a population.